What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Mark Isms here. Welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Joe Rogan and his $100 million deal with Spotify. Stay tuned.
Let's go. I've been on a minute. Lord, show me forgiveness. Just been trying to win it. For me and my little ones. Gotta get it. Ooh, gotta get it. Yeah. Gotta get it. Ooh, gotta get it. Yeah. I'm working to finish. All that I started. My destiny's living. The way I've wanted. Gotta get it. Ooh, gotta get it. Yeah. Gotta get it. Ooh.
All right, we're back in action, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for tuning in. First and foremost, if you haven't checked out my channel yet or subscribed, make sure you go ahead and do so. We just hit 11,000 subs, so very much appreciate that. We were maybe at 4,000 subs less than a couple months ago, and we've been gaining a lot of traction over the last couple months. A lot of it has to do with our 200,000 followers on TikTok, so if you haven't checked me out on TikTok, feel free to go over there and check me out as well. We do a lot of short videos, a lot of quick little snap takes, and I try to give, valid information as much as I can, and then we take the people and we drive them over here to YouTube if they want to see a longer version of what I do on TikTok. We talk stimulus checks, we talk events in the economy, we talk money, marketing, digital hacks, life hacks, all those things. So if you are into that type of thing, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump right in and not waste any time. It's going to be a short and sweet video. Recently on Market Watch, they posted an article. Who is Joe Rogan? The man who just scored a reported $100 million deal with Spotify. Go ahead and just put that into perspective for a moment. $100 million a year for a man. Now, we're going to make this very simple in layman's term. And it's much more than this. But for a man who records YouTube videos and then uploads it as a podcast as well. Wow. We're not downplaying Joe Rogan at all, because he is probably he has the number one podcast in the world when it comes to Apple Music and Spotify and all the different podcast players. He has been in the game for many years. He's had lots of success in his prior careers doing different things. He's we'll read this in a second, but he's been on host of Fear Factor, UFC. He really got his chops wet doing interviews with UFC fighters and UFC superstars there, and he's had a very successful road. The popular podcaster sold his 11-year-old Joe Rogan Experience to Spotify. Now, he sold the rights. However, he still owns the content, so he's going to be able to continue recording and continue producing content as he normally has. If you haven't checked out the Joe Rogan Experience, I definitely recommend you go check that out. It's an incredible podcast. Joe Rogan is a bright individual, one of the brightest minds out there. Now, if you're more mainstream and you don't believe in some of the farther out thoughts like aliens and Bigfoot, and if you're not into psychedelics and that type of thing, and not everybody is, and you don't have to necessarily do them to be interested in them either, but he talks a lot about that stuff. He has a lot of controversial people on his website. He's bipartisan for the most part, even though he said he's always voted Democrat. He recently admitted that he cannot see himself voting for the Democratic Party this time around because Joe Biden is just not fit to be president. So there's a little bit of controversy there. He's had people on his show like Elon Musk, and that show was particularly controversial because him and Elon Musk smoked a joint and drank whiskey on the show, and right after that, Tesla stock dropped because people freaked out that Elon Musk kind of was chilling, laying back, and just taking one down with the boys, But that episode was pretty funny too. You definitely go check that out. Now, this license deal is reportedly worth $100 million, the Wall Street Journal recently reported, which adds up adds almost 1,500 episodes, which weren't available on streaming services before. They'll hit Spotify beginning September 1st. Now, it's also reported that by the end of the year, beginning of 2021, he'll no longer have content on YouTube, and it'll all be migrated and moved over to Spotify. Now, many of you don't know that Spotify is primarily podcast platform. However, they've recently came out with a video kind of dashboard, a video launch in order to go with the podcast. Because a lot of podcasters, and myself included, they record a YouTube video, then they'll take that audio and they'll repurpose it as a podcast. An easy way to do it, because a lot of times what we do is we interview people. We have, maybe we'll do a Zoom call with somebody on YouTube, or, if you stream on Twitch or Mixer, whatever the case may be, you'll take that audio, then you'll transpose it, and you can upload it as a podcast onto many different podcast platforms. So there's going to be 1,500 episodes on Spotify exclusively. It'll begin September 1st, and it's going to be, I think it's a great move. So I guess what I want to know from you, whoever's watching this, what are your thoughts down below? Give me some dialogue. Let me know, do you think this is a good move? Do you even know who Joe Rogan is? Have you followed Joe Rogan? Have you been privy to his podcasts in the past? Do you think this is a good thing? Now, it's an exclusive deal with Spotify, which means he's not going to be on Apple Music anymore. He's not going to be on any of the other podcasting platforms. If you want to listen or watch Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience, you will only be able to do it through Spotify, which means you'll have to download the Spotify app. Now, that's one of the reasons why Spotify is doing this, because they want to secure. He has however many million followers on YouTube right now. Joe Rogan Experience, I think it's like 11 million. Let me just make sure. Joe Rogan, let's see. How many subscribers? Okay, close. So he's got 8.47 million subscribers. And he's got, I believe it's over 1,500 videos to date. But his videos are pretty interesting. I mean, he's had everybody from mob bosses to Tony Hawk to Elon Musk. He's had, anybody and everybody you can think of. Tom Green. He's had. There was recently a episode where he had. What's the guy's name? I'm drawing a blank right now. He's had incredible people on his show. Jim Norton, Mark Norman, Kevin Ross. He's had Kevin Hart. He's had even political figures on his show. And there's so many that you can't even remember all of them. But if you end up getting hooked up with one episode, I guarantee you'll go down the rabbit hole and you'll just end up binging on hours and hours. And a lot of his episodes, believe it or not, are 2-hour podcasts, 2-hour video podcasts, and people will actually sit there and watch the entire thing. Now, a lot of people watch it while they work or while they're driving. They'll listen to the audio, but it's really pretty interesting what he does there. There's a quick little video about Joe Rogan, and I want to just play that real quick. Make sure it comes through on the desktop.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify. I signed a multi-year licensing agreement with Spotify that will start on September 1st. Starting on September 1st, the entire JRE library will be available on Spotify as well as all the other platforms. Then somewhere around the end of the year, it will become exclusive to Spotify, including the video version of the podcast. It will be the exact same show. I am not going to be an employee of Spotify. We're going to be working with the same crew, doing the exact same show. The only difference will be it will now be available on the largest audio platform in the world. Nothing else will change. It will be free. It will be free to you. You just have to go to Spotify to get it. We're very excited to begin this new chapter of the JRE, and I hope you're there when we cross over. Thanks.
So he's saying it'll be free, which is pretty cool as well, because a lot of you know Spotify is a free, but it's also a paid premium podcasting platform, podcasting app where you can have premium features, but you have to pay a monthly fee. But from the horse's mouth right here, Joe Rogan is saying his content's always going to be free. You're going to be able to listen to it free of charge, but you have to download the Spotify app in order to do it, or the app on your computer, which you're able to download on Windows or Mac as well. But that's cool. So as long as they keep it free, as long as they don't put a paywall in front of it, I think he won't have much trouble bringing his 8.47 million followers from YouTube over to Spotify. Now, will all of them come? Probably not. There's probably many people that don't like Spotify or won't download the app or won't take that extra step to go follow him. But the majority, I'm assuming the majority of people who listen to him, the diehard Joe Rogan fans, are going to end up going over there, even if it's a fraction of that 8.47 million followers. There's going to be a lot of followers going over to Spotify, and Spotify is probably going to promote him as well. So he's probably going to be at the top charts. He's probably going to have a lot of promotion on his own because, I mean, he's an attractive figure. So he was already making about $30 million a year before joining Spotify. Now that was with YouTube, that was with promotional deals that he's done, that was with his MMA career, his MMA announcer career, that was with all the different pots, all the different what do they say? All of the different irons in the fire. He's had many different streams of income over the years, and he's probably still getting paid for things that he did 10, 20 years ago. I mean, there's royalties he's probably getting. Anytime his show, Fear Factor, airs on TV, he still gets royalties. So this is the Elon Musk episode where he appeared to be smoking pot. And just take note, disclaimer there that they're in California when they were recording this episode, so it's recreational marijuana is fine in California, so that wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like it was illegal, but the owner and CEO of Tesla was on there. Elon Musk, the guy that makes rockets, SpaceX, and flies them into space, was smoking pot and drinking whiskey with Joe Rogan. So there's a little bit of heat there. Tesla's stock dropped a considerable amount as well, but then it bounced back. He also had controversial figures like Alex Jones. If you don't know who Alex Jones is, just do a quick Google search. He was one of the guys that said Sandy Hook event in 2012 was fake and blah, blah, blah. He's since then recanted his statement and apologized to all the families. So again, that could be a whole nother episode. But if you want to hear stuff like that, let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so up until this point, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it because it definitely helps the algorithm boost these videos up so that more people can see them. Again, that's only if you like this content. And if you have a problem with the content, you don't like it, you think my voice is annoying, you think I look ugly, drop it in the comments too. Every comment counts. All comments count. Good ones and the bad ones too. So anyway, this is my video on Joe Rogan and his $100 million deal. I want to know what your thoughts are. At this point, we're looking at in the podcasting space, it's going to be Spotify versus everybody else. Spotify, by making this move and acquiring Joe Rogan, one of the top podcasters in the entire world, they're making waves right now, and it's literally looks like they're setting up for Spotify versus everybody else, and everybody else is going to have to step up their game. So this is a good thing for content creators as well, myself alike, all of the great YouTubers on there that, all the different guys that we follow. I've been watching a lot of 𝗦𝗘𝗡𝗞𝗦, 𝗦𝗡𝗏, Stephen Graham. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I've been following on YouTube, and it gives us hope that, hey, maybe if we keep building our channels, we keep pumping out value, we keep giving content to people like you that are watching our channel and watching our videos and smashing that like button and clicking that subscribe and that bell button, that, hey, maybe one day we'll get picked up by a network and one day our game will be taken to the next level. So, hey guys, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for staying tuned until the end of this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And until the next video, make sure you stay fresh, stay healthy, stay adventurous. We'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.